What's up, guys? Team Stamp West, Discraft Underground Captain. I'm here with Alex. Alex, how's it going?
Pretty good, man.
Awesome. And for our interview today, we got the man, the myth, the legend, JC Kester.
What's up, gentlemen? Happy to be here. Let's have some fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks, JC, for joining us. We're on a really good little stretch here in the off-season 2.0 with players that people have probably heard of, but maybe don't know a ton about. And so we want to get you guys some FaceTime and learn a little bit more about you. So to start with that, we would like to know how you got your start in disc golf.
Oh, man. It was during early college years. Just a few of my buddies randomly was like, hey, let's go play some Frisbee golf. I'm like, sure, I like throwing things. And we went out and had some fun. One of my buddies, like, he, researched everything, like found out the way to throw everything. He was like, he got the right discs and all this stuff. And I came out with a putter and I threw like this. And that was the only way I threw a disc for the first year of playing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and just kind of messed around, and eventually dude had a league, at a local league, and I was like, oh, competition, I kind of missed that, because I played baseball growing up and loved that. And so after that, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to take this seriously, and started playing like 3 rounds a day. And then, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. It's funny, in Guts Frisbee, we call that throw a thumber. Obviously, in disc golf, a thumber is a different throw, but it's known to be kind of hard on the shoulder and elbow. Did you have any injuries at all?
It absolutely destroyed my elbow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was eventually, throwing like high-speed drivers like that and getting, close to 400 feet out of it. And I was just, playing 3 rounds a day. And then eventually I could bend my elbow, about this far for a month. And I was like, all right. So I learned a regular sidearm. It turns out those work way better anyways.
Yeah. Anybody that's interested, maybe try that shot one time, but I wouldn't try it more than that.
No, it hurts.
Yeah, not good for the arm. So you've been in the 990 plus range since like 2012, so we're going on about 8 years. 990 to 1,000, which is good. Good. You're a solid disc golfer. There's a ton of people out there who are in that kind of 960 to 970 range that are looking to get to that 990,000 range. What advice would you give to them to make that jump, that 20, 30 point jump up there?
Putting. I mean, everyone knows the relation to putting and scoring. And I think having a consistent routine is the best way to do that. Because a lot of people, when they get into tournaments, the nerves get to them. And all of a sudden it becomes a whole different task instead of just throwing a disc in a basket.
Yeah.
And having a consistent routine will help you, kind of erase those thoughts in your head about all the negative thoughts that come with putting. Like, oh, I don't want to miss this putt. But your routine just keeps you in that same mindset that you have when you're practicing.
That's wild. Nice. What is your putting routine?
My putting routine is pretty simple. Like, I try to get all the wind and all the reading done before I step up to my lie. So I step up and I take a look down at my mini. I take a look up at the one chain link that I'm focusing on, and just try to think the only thing in my head is my target is that chain, and then throw.
Just trying to make that putt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice. Awesome. Well, this is kind of a midpoint for our video, so we want to remind everybody, give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe, and if you're itching for more content, be sure to hit the notification bell. We'll have a bunch of stuff coming out every week throughout the season, so be sure to subscribe. Normally, we would have a giveaway with all of the coronavirus madness going on. We're going to keep our hands to ourselves and do not have a giveaway, but we'll come back with some giveaways after all this madness is over.
Most definitely. So
you've got to be responsible.
Yeah, exactly. So you're widely known as the Thumber King around the disc golf world. Some people say that Matt Dollar is up there too. You mentioned when you first started throwing, you're throwing that kind of forehand thumber thing. How did you decide that using the thumber style or using that kind of thing was best for your game, and what did that look like?
Well, when I started playing, they didn't really have a bunch of YouTube videos out, so I was completely self-taught, and I actually just picked up a disc and was like, I wonder if I could chuck it overhand like a baseball. And I did, and I was like, oh, that works nicely. And one of the local guys who's an experienced player saw me throw it, and he's like kind of tweaked what I was doing a little bit. and started chucking them a lot. It was something that I could rely on. I didn't have huge distance on it until later on, which really changed my game. Once I discovered the super flat Nuke OSs, I started throwing them 450, and it was just I started overusing them. But I was throwing them, wide open fairways just because I knew I could land down the middle, get myself 450 feet. Yeah, so I mean, I got to 1,000 without throwing a single backhand.
That's crazy.
That's
which
crazy.
was I was kind of proud of that at the time, but
Yeah.
I definitely have a backhand now. My game has changed a lot,
That's
although
awesome.
my rating hasn't.
So what kind of advantages do you see in throwing those thumber shots, throwing those overhand shots? What kind of advantage do you see in those?
Oh man, there's a lot of advantages, especially Colorado mountain golf. That's kind of where I specialize at. You can either throw the tight route right down the middle, or I can just launch a thumber up over all the trees and take all the obstacles out of the way.
Really?
And then a lot of times, so in island shots, so I'll use a disc like a regular nuke, not a nuke OS, that flips really fast, and it'll actually come down and land backwards, so there's no movement whatsoever after it lands. So there's a number of different ways you can use them, all through trees as well, because they're going vertical for a lot of the flight, so you can get through tighter gaps and just kind of do the line drive ones like Matt Dollar and Schwebe are known for.
That's wild. So
over the top thumbers, but
yeah,
I dabble in the others.
It's really interesting because obviously pretty much everybody in the disc golf community knows the flight pattern of a backhand or flight pattern of a forehand, how it skips, how it settles, but the idea that there's a new dimension almost when you're throwing your thumbers and those overhead shots are just wild. So
it does. It changes the way I look at courses. A lot of people, like when I walk up to a hole, I look up. That's the first thing I do. It's like, oh, can I throw a thumber here? Wild. And then I was in North Carolina last week and got a little bored of that, looking up and not seeing anything. So changed that a bit.
That's hilarious. So actually talking about that trip to North Carolina, what are some of the differences? I mean, maybe that you just pointed out, some of the differences from home to North Carolina.
It's a whole different game. Not only are there 3 times the trees, but you're also throwing at sea level. And so everything's super flippy for me, which is kind of nice on the putts because the putts just glide for days. But then I get back home and everything's dropping and I'm missing putts short. So it's always a little bit of an adjustment. Really looking forward to Worlds for that because everyone else has to adjust the elevation and I'm going to be at my home elevation.
Oh, wow.
Could you talk a little bit about the differences? I know you mentioned it briefly, but the differences in 6,000-7,000 feet up in the mountains versus down at sea level.
The differences are huge. Like I will have to switch out my discs if especially go up to like Aspen at 10,000 feet. Mm-hmm. Throwing a Nuke OS sidearm is just laughable. I mean, I'm throwing like a Thrasher sidearm.
Wow,
sometimes.
Really?
And they're throwing my flippiest nukes because you don't have the wind resistance to generate that spin. So whether it might be cutting through the air faster, but you're not generating any glide. So it makes for a whole different flight, which is one of the reasons so many Colorado players can throw so far, because we have to put so much power on a shot just to get it to fly normally here that when we go down to sea level, it's just like, oh, what on earth is this? Like everything just goes.
So everything is more stable in the elevation, which I know I've heard before.
Yeah, it's significant.
Yeah, the thought of throwing like a Thrasher sidearm at full power is kind of crazy.
It's a little wild, yeah. I mean, I'll definitely have to put a little bit of hyzer on it. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's a whole different discs you can use.
That's crazy. So kind of changing gears a bit. You're not exactly one of the touring pros who goes all over the place. So what does this time look like for you? As schedules are changing because of world events, right? What does your schedule look like? What does your tour schedule, or how are you adapting to this situation?
Well, I mean, last year I was hurt in April, and so I didn't play the rest of the season. I tried to play a few tournaments with some lefty-righty mixed, what I could do. And so honestly, it's starting to feel like last year, and I don't like it very much. But yeah, just right now. But honestly, I've only been throwing right-handed again for like a month and a half, so I need some more practice before I can go out and properly compete, especially working on my new putting routine. But I've just been working. I'm an electrician, so we're considered essential. So I've been out running wire and keeping people powered up. But yeah, just waiting for the tournaments to open back up so I can go play.
Yeah, it's wild because there are like one of the things that we don't really hear about because if we're paying attention to the top level of the sport is people who do this for a living, their lives are on hold, but someone like you who plays competes at that high level, but that's not what you do. It's a little bit less of a change, right? Because you still
Is.
have your 9 to 5.
Exactly. I still have my 9 to 5. But I do it normally during the summer. I'll only do a few days of regular work a week, and then hustle to the next tournament, which is usually in Colorado, just because I love Colorado and being in the mountains and then throwing frisbees is just kind of as good as it gets for me. So I will travel around a bit. I'll go up to Michigan again this year, definitely see you guys.
Sweet.
And then Worlds for sure. I'm not going to miss that, being only a few hours away from me.
Gotcha. So the last question I'll throw at you before we get to Wes's rapid fires is I'm gonna check to make sure it's not in there. So I'm curious, what is your favorite course in Colorado?
My favorite course in Colorado is Bailey. I was actually on film there for a tournament on Central Coast quite a few times.
Nice.
What is it called? The Bloom.
Gotcha.
But it's a beautiful mountain course. I mean, you can just absolutely bomb shots all day, and you feel like you could birdie almost every hole in the course. But if you come away 7 or 8 under par, you actually played very, very well.
Really?
So it's all there, but it's hard to get. And then they recently put in artificial turf pads, so it's beautiful. It's up in the mountains, a billion different shots to throw. Really fun course.
Cool. What city is that near?
It is. Let's see. It's up probably 45 minutes from Denver, up in the mountains.
Gotcha. Cool. So
Wes, was Eagle on that coverage last year too?
Well, let's see here. That was the Aspen tournament last year.
Oh, okay.
Which is, like the most picturesque course you'll ever see. I mean, you like see nothing but 14ers spread out everywhere, but the course itself leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah. I've watched a couple of the Central Coast tournaments. I would encourage people that want to go watch some fun coverage to go watch Central Coast and look at some of your rounds, because some of those thumbers are crazy, and I know those camera guys have a whale of a time trying to film thumbers and their flight pattern, and way up in the sky into the blue skies out there. It's a real challenge for those guys, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I've really been making it hard on them lately. Now that I have the black Nuke OS, you can't even see that thing without a camera. So
wild.
Nice. Well, we will jump into some of our rapid fire questions. I got 10 rapid fire questions. These will be short answer. Feel free to maybe, 1 sentence answer if you want to, but we will chug through these, and I got some good ones in here. Are you ready?
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We start out easy, and then we get a little tougher as we go.
Okay.
Favorite color?
Favorite color, green.
Throwing only backhands, could lefty JC beat righty JC?
If I could putt right-handed, it would be pretty close.
I know you're working on your lefty backhand with the injury.
My lefty backhand's getting pretty good, especially with being injured all last year. But
nice. I think we'll probably know the answer to this one. Favorite Colorado tournament?
The Snow Mountain Challenge.
Oh,
up in Winter Park, Colorado. My buddy Tom Carrillo runs it. Everyone needs to know about this tournament. You ride a ski lift to the top of the mountain, play your round where there's wild strawberries growing all over the ground. Like you can just pick strawberries all day. And then you finish your round and you ride an alpine slide to the bottom of the mountain. And it's also cool. Like my number 2 or number 3 course in Colorado too. So it's just an absolutely fantastic time.
What time of year is that one?
That one is in August, usually like middle of August.
Okay, nice. Check it out if you guys are in Colorado. Sounds pretty cool. Favorite place you've traveled for disc golf?
Let's see. For disc golf, probably Santa Cruz. I went there and played Worlds in 2011, and I just love California. The beaches and the mountain where the beaches meet the mountains. It's kind of a really neat place, and a lot of cool locals and 4 really fun courses.
I feel like that's a great description for JC Kester. Beaches meet meet mountains.
Yeah, there you go.
If you only get one mid, one fairway, and one driver, and you're going to play the toboggan, what are you grabbing?
I'll grab a buzz, a machete, and let's see. Let's go with an undertaker.
Ooh, I like it. Good straight flyers. Your favorite thing to do off the disc golf course?
I would probably say video games. Actually, I really enjoy playing a lot of video games. Play Overwatch, Madden, Rocket League. I've been playing the new Call of Duty Warzone lately, which has been pretty fun. Also dig hiking and stuff like that. But
Nice. Video games. We'll talk after the video.
Yeah.
One stays and one goes. Cats or dogs?
I can't, man. I have cats and dogs.
That's great.
I guess I'd say cats. Just I don't know. They're so close. It's hard.
It's a lose-lose, whichever one you get. If you couldn't pick yourself, who has the best beard in disc golf?
Oh, let's see. Justin Bilodeau. I mean, I think that's unmatched. I mean, no one can compete with that. Dude pulled a mini out of it during the preview for the tournament. I mean, it's pretty epic.
Yeah. He's got a sick beard. My buddy Spencer, also an MVP friend, also has a sick beard. Shout out to Spencer. Are the Rocky Mountains still growing?
No.
They are.
I don't believe so. They're still growing?
They're still growing.
No way. So we're going to have more 14ers.
That's wild.
I thought it was funny. All right. And then our last one, Summer Battle for the Ages, to settle it once and for all. You versus Matt Dollar on a course, let's say like USDGC. You know, pretty, I would say it's like lefty friendly, so probably thumber friendly. Who wins?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I got to go with myself. I mean, if you don't believe in yourself, who are you going to believe in?
Right.
Yeah.
I dig it. It'll be such a cool battle. I know there's a couple other people that are big thumber bombers too. Cedar Morgan's on the underground.
Cedar's got a great thumber.
Yeah, there's some good thumber throwers. It'd be really cool to get a filmed card of just like 4 thumber bombers all duking it out.
It's kind of fun because I mean, thumber guys all are friends, you know, like, you know, because people like to give us shit, you know, like, so we're all kind of, you know, look out for each other. We're all good buddies.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that is it for our rapid fires. We want to give you a minute or two to go ahead and thank anybody you want to thank, or just whatever you want to say to the fans.
Obviously, I want to thank Discraft for sponsoring me since 2016. Still on the team, even after my injury last year. It really says a lot about their company, keeping me on board. I'd like to thank Rocky Tops, my buddies Donnie and Crystal, and they made me these cool hats with my Thumberman logo on them.
Yeah. You still got some of those for sale?
No, they sold out really fast. I'm going to try to get some more made, though, because they're pretty fun. And I got also Orbital Creations. They made me a wood mini with the logo on it, and those are really cool, too. So, and then you guys, obviously, thanks to you guys for having me on, and the disc golf world for being the most awesome people there are. I mean,
the best people. Sweet. Well, thank you. Thank you, JC, for joining us. If you guys have any more questions you want to ask JC, find him on Facebook. He's always responsive. Feel free to hit him up. And
absolutely.
At the end of the day, Alex, one thing left to do.
Make that putt.
Make it.
Make it.